Today we're going to talk about how to set up the MedRad power injector. The first step is to obtain the power injector syringe and the tubing. The syringe will be opened off the sterile field by the circulator, and the tubing will be opened to the scrub personnel. Then you would want to turn on the power injector. We will first take the power injector syringe and insert it into the power injector arm. You want to make sure it's in there securely. So you will insert it and then place this lip right over the top to hold it in. You might have to take the orange cap off to do that, but you can replace the orange cap when you're done. We will then refer to our instructions on the screen here. So what it says first is advance plunger. So to advance the plunger, we'll come back over here, push our middle round button, and then push any of these buttons above to advance the plunger. The further away the button, the faster the plunger will move. We want to advance it all the way to the end until it reads 0 mL, and then we will begin to draw up our contrast. Every surgeon here does half contrast, half injectable saline mix, except for D. Perini. So you can remember this because don't dilute D. Perini. I'll start with the letter D. So what we will do to draw up our contrast is attach this little hook straw, and then we will have our contrast right here, and we would begin to draw it up. So in order to draw up this contrast, we will again push our round middle button, and then we will push any of the buttons below to draw up the contrast. Like we said, the further away, the faster it goes. So it's recommended that you kind of go right here in the middle, so that you're not drawing it up too fast or too slow, and that will just prevent too many air bubbles from getting in there because we obviously don't want to inject air bubbles through the power injector. Once we get to the end, it should read 150 mL. That will be a full syringe. You do want to check for air bubbles. You might have to tap gently at the top to put all those air bubbles towards the top, and then you will again push the middle button, purge all those bubbles out, and then replace it with contrast back to the 150. Once you do that, you can refer back to our screen, which is rotate head down to arm. So our syringe is all drawn up. The next step is to obtain our sterile tubing and connect that to the end of our power injector. So we will get that from our scrub on the sterile field. They will keep this end. This end will be tossed off the field, and you will want to secure this end to the tip of the syringe. So remove the orange cap and secure the tubing in here. This can be kind of a little tricky, so you might have to play around, unscrew this a little bit so that you can get the tubing right in there just so. Right like that. Then you can screw it down. Perfect. And it is tight. So once we do that, we're going to want to prime our tubing, put all the contrast in, so you can turn this knob on the bottom to get the contrast all the way through the tubing. Once the contrast is all the way through, you can then turn the arm down, and when we are finished with the case, we will then come back to our screen here. Right here, it's going to show us total contrast used. Right now it says 0 because this was just a demo, but it will tell you the total amount of contrast you used. You want to remember that and record it. Then you'll push end case. It'll say, did you unhook this from the patient? Yes, we're done. It's unhooked. You hit yes. You are finished. What you want to do is come here, turn this clockwise, and then you can pull the syringe right out of the top, and you are done. This can be very tricky, and you want to make sure you are turning it just a little bit of clockwise and pulling it straight out so that we don't leak any contrast into the power injector. That's it. If you have any questions or concerns, don't hesitate to talk to the vascular team leader, any member of the vascular team, or myself.